Hey, it's Chris. Happy February 21st. Do I look any wiser? I am 48 in one day now. I feel like I look wiser. Look at this. I've been doing a little light reading, Almanac of American Politics. And actually, this is relevant to the video. So, Donald Trump did a town hall with Fox News' Laura Ingraham on Tuesday night. You may have missed it. If you missed it, go to my Substack. I went through the whole transcript and picked out the 43 lines you need to see, and trust me, you need to see them. But I wanted to zero in on a specific thing that happened toward the end of that town hall. So Ingraham asked Trump about, she cites this poll that shows him only losing by 12 in New York, and she asks him about states that he's going to compete in. So these are the states he lists off. New York, which he lost by 23 in 2020. California, which he lost by 29 in 2020, New Jersey, which he lost by 16 in 2020, and New Mexico, which he lost by 10 in 2020. Now, this is, of course, utter bullshit, right? This is not going to happen. Donald Trump is not going to win New York or California. If he did, we would be talking about a landslide election, the likes of which we have not had since Ronald Reagan beat Walter Mondale in 1984. So let's just reset a little bit, because I think this gives us an opportunity to talk about, okay, like what might the electoral map actually look like? So, reminder, Joe Biden won the Electoral College in 2020, 306 electoral votes to 232 for Trump. Now, that seems pretty wide. It's actually not all that wide. Trump won 306 or 307 electoral votes in 2016 over Hillary Clinton. What I think we are talking about is a very narrow number of actual swing states here. What I've seen since about 2000, when I started covering this stuff closely, so the last 2.5 decades, is a shrinking number of swing states, actually, just less states being that competitive. I think probably if you want to really sort of zero in on the states that are going to elect or re-elect a president, I would call it Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. Now, I'm going to come back to those in a minute, but let's go through some of the ones that I left off. So, Arizona. Biden won it narrowly in 2020. I guess he could win it again. I'm a little skeptical there. And I'd say the same thing about Georgia, which Biden won extremely narrowly. Sure, it's a possibility. I have a feeling with an incumbent Democratic president with sort of approval ratings in the 30s, low 40s, with more people saying the country is off in the wrong direction than on the right track. My guess is those things revert back to sort of more of their Republican nature and vote for Trump. I'd say the same thing with North Carolina. I'd say the same thing with Florida. Now, Republicans sometimes make noise about like Minnesota. I don't see it. I mean, I know it's probably the closest of the states outside of those swingiest states, but I personally don't see it. So I really do think we're talking about Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. So the upper Midwest, sort of Rust Belt, and then Pennsylvania, which is part Rust Belt and part sort of, I guess, mid-Atlantic, New Englandish. If I had to pick one, I would pick Pennsylvania. Trump won it in 2016 narrowly. Biden won it in 2020 narrowly. I don't think it is not a coincidence that the person who won that state wound up winning the presidency. It's a big state with a lot of electoral votes. I do think that's the one where you're going to see the fight between sort of white, rural voters who have gone very Republican, who live everywhere outside of Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, and then suburban and urban voters who have gone heavily Democratic. It's a state that has both. It's a big state with a big population, but I do think that's sort of where it's going to come down to. It is not going to come down to New York or California or New Mexico or New Jersey or my home state of Connecticut. This election will be fought in a very, very small number of states. And I really do think pay attention to those three and where polling is in those three, because I think those three are going to tell us who the next president of the United States is. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Now is the time. No time like the present. Like this video, like my other videos. And don't forget, Friday, live stream. We're going to do it. So stay tuned. Take care. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.